Oh, you you made it. I wasn't sure if you'd actually come out here this late, but I'm so glad you did. Come, sit down next to me on this blanket. I know it's a bit of a walk from the main path, but this spot, it's special. Away from all the lights, you know. Just us. And, well, you'll see. You're probably wondering why I asked you to meet me out here in the middle of nowhere at 10 o'clock at night, and why I was so mysterious about it in my text. I mean, meet me at the old oak tree, bring a jacket, and trust me, probably sounded a little odd. The thing is, I've been thinking about something for a while now, something I want to share with you, but I I couldn't figure out how to say it, not in the normal way anyway. So I thought maybe I could tell you a story instead. Using these, look up. Really look up. See how clear it is tonight? Not a single cloud, and the moon's just a sliver. So the stars, they're absolutely brilliant. I've been coming out here for months, learning them, mapping them in my mind. Each one has something to say, if you know how to listen. I know this probably sounds a bit silly, maybe even childish, but you don't think it's silly, do you? The way you're looking at them right now, I can tell you understand. You've always understood the things that matter to me, even when I can barely put them into words myself. See that bright one there? The one that seems to twinkle more than the others? That's where our story begins. It reminds me of, well, let's just say it's the perfect place to start, because every good story needs a beginning. And this one has been waiting to be told for so long. That star I showed you, it's actually part of something bigger, something that tells a much more interesting story. Okay, look over here. See those three in a row? Right there, almost directly overhead now. Those three bright stars lined up perfectly? That's Orion's belt. And around it, if you let your eyes adjust and really look, you can see the outline of a hunter, arms outstretched, shield raised, ready for, well, something. But here's the thing about Orion that most people don't know. He wasn't just any hunter. In the stories, he was a wanderer, someone who traveled from place to place, never quite settling anywhere, always searching, looking for something he couldn't quite name. You know that feeling, right? When you're looking for something, but you're not even sure what it is? Like there's this empty space inside you, and you know something belongs there, but you can't figure out what it might be. I used to feel like that, like I was wandering through my days, going through all the motions, but missing something essential, something that would make everything else make sense. Maybe it was a purpose, or a direction, or or a companion. The ancient Greeks said Orion was placed in the sky as a reminder, not of his hunting prowess, but of his search, because sometimes the most important journeys aren't about reaching a destination. They're about recognizing what you're looking for when you finally find it. And the beautiful thing is, look at him up there. He's not wandering anymore, is he? He's fixed in place, constant, reliable, like he found what he was searching for and decided to stay, to be a guide for others who might be lost. You're very quiet. Are you thinking about your own searching? Because I have a feeling, I have a feeling you might understand this better than most people would. But even wanderers need a guide, something to keep them from getting completely lost. You see that star up there? The one that seems a little brighter than the others, almost directly north? That's Polaris, the North Star. For thousands of years, Travelers have used it to find their way. Not because it's the brightest star in the sky, it's actually not, but because it stays put while everything else wheels around it. Polaris remains constant, steady, reliable. When sailors were lost at sea, when explorers were wandering through unknown territories, when people were just trying to figure out which direction to go in their lives, they looked up and found Polaris. And suddenly, they weren't lost anymore. They had a reference point, something to navigate by. You know what's funny? I never really understood why that mattered so much until, well, until I started thinking about my own life. About all those times I felt like that wanderer we talked about, going through the motions but not really knowing where I was headed. And then I realized something. You, you've kind of been like that for me, you know? A steady point in my sometimes chaotic sky. When everything else feels like it's spinning and changing and I can't quite get my bearings, there you are. Constant, reliable. Just, I know this might sound a bit much, but it's true. When I'm having one of those days where nothing makes sense, or when I'm doubting myself, or when I just feel completely turned around, I think about our conversations, about your laugh, about the way you listen, really listen, when I'm rambling about stars or books or whatever random thing has caught my attention that day. And suddenly, I remember which direction I'm supposed to be going. Not because you tell me what to do, but because you help me remember who I am. You've been my North Star, and I don't think you even realize it. But you know what? That's not the only constellation that catches my attention up there. No, look over there. See that W shape? That's Cassiopeia, the queen. She's beautiful, isn't she? Always so prominent in the northern sky. But here's the thing, most people don't notice. Her husband is right there, too. Cepheus, the king. He's a bit fainter, harder to spot, but he's always there, always close to her. They're part of the same story, you know. In Greek mythology, they were bound together for eternity, not just by marriage, but by the stars themselves. They circle the North Star together, never setting below the horizon, never truly separated. Even when you can only see one clearly, you know the other isn't far. They're always aware of each other's presence. I find myself thinking about them a lot lately, about how some connections just exist like that, constant, even when they're not always obvious to everyone else looking up. Like maybe one person shines a little brighter, gets noticed more easily, while the other is quieter, more subtle. But they're still there, still connected by something deeper than what most people can see. You're being very quiet over there. I can almost see the wheels turning in your head. Are you thinking about what I'm thinking about? Because I have to ask you something, and maybe it's crazy, but do you think some connections are just written in the stars? Like, maybe they've been there all alone, waiting for the right moment, the right conversation under the right sky, for someone to finally point them out? And then, my favorite, see those two bright stars? So close together? Right there? Almost like they're touching? That's Gemini, the twins, Castor and Pollux. I know what you're thinking. Another pair, another story about connection. But this one's different. This one gets to me every single time I look up at them, because their story isn't just about love or marriage. or even friendship. It's about something deeper than that. Castor and Pollux were brothers, but not just any brothers. They were inseparable. Everything they did together. Every adventure, every challenge, every moment of joy or sorrow. They shared it all. And when Castor was killed in battle, Pollux was so heartbroken that he begged Zeus to let him share his immortality with his brother. He couldn't bear the thought of existing without him. So Zeus placed them both in the sky, side by side, forever. Two stars that shine with almost the same brightness, so close that you can barely tell where one ends and the other begins. They rise together, they set together, and they'll never be separated again. Not by death, not by time, not by anything. It makes you think, doesn't it? About the kind of bonds that transcend everything else. About finding someone who becomes so much a part of your world that you can't imagine navigating life without them. Someone whose presence makes everything brighter, whose absence would leave you feeling incomplete. And see that little cluster? The seven sisters? The Pleiades? They're a bit distant, almost like a whispered secret. 7 stars dancing together in their own little corner of the sky. Most people can only see 6 with the naked eye, but if you really focus, if you let your eyes adjust, and you know exactly where to look, you can catch glimpses of that 7th sister. She's called the Lost Pleiad. There are different stories about why she's so faint, but I think she's just shy, hiding behind the brightness of her sisters, afraid to shine as boldly as she could, afraid that if she steps into the light, everyone will see her for who she really is. Which brings me to, well, to why I really asked you here tonight. You're very quiet. I can see you looking at me differently now, and I know you're wondering where all of this is leading. All these stories, these stars, they're me trying to tell you something, trying to find the courage to step out from behind the safety of metaphors and mythology. The truth is, every single constellation I've shown you tonight, every story I've shared, they all have one thing in common. They're all about connection, about finding someone who changes everything, about love that's so powerful it gets written in the stars themselves. And I've been the lost Pleiad for so long, hiding in the background of our friendship, afraid to let you see how much brighter I could shine if I just told you the truth. Wow. Okay, I said it. I actually said it out loud. You're very quiet. That's okay. It's a lot to take in, I know. I needed you to know. I've been carrying this around for so long, and tonight, with all these stars watching over us, it felt like the right time, like maybe the universe was giving me the courage I've been waiting for. I'm not expecting you to say anything right now. I really mean that. I'm glad I told you. There's something so freeing about finally letting someone see the real you, isn't there? Even if it's terrifying. Especially when it's terrifying. You know what's funny? I've imagined this moment so many times, and in my head, I was always so much more eloquent. I had these perfect words planned out, this beautiful speech about how you make me feel like I could reach up and rearrange the constellations themselves. But now that we're here, all I can think is how much I hope this doesn't change everything between us. How much I hope it changes everything between us. Does that make sense? I want us to still be us, but more. I want to keep sharing these quiet moments under the stars, but maybe next time I won't have to hide how much it means to me when you look at me like that. When you really listen to my stories, like they matter. Maybe, maybe we can look at them together again sometime. And maybe they won't just be my stories anymore. Maybe they can be ours. We could create new constellations, new myths, find patterns in the sky that belong to just us. I know I'm rambling now. I do that when I'm nervous, and I'm definitely nervous. But it's a good kind of nervous, if that makes any sense. Like standing at the edge of something beautiful and unknown, knowing that whatever happens next, at least I was brave enough to take the leap. Thank you for listening, for being here, for being you, for being the kind of person who makes someone like me want to step out from behind the shadows and shine a little brighter.